Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्ण माता जी, धन्यवाद, प्रणाम.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So here, Sutta Goswami is telling to Shaunakadi Rishi that Parikshit Maharaj also inquired like you. Like how you are inquiring, in the same way, Parikshit Maharaj also inquired. So, 5th verse onwards. Rajovacha. So, what are inquiries Parikshit Maharaj did about this? Now we'll be taking the topic. Rajovacha Samichinam Vacho Brahman Sarvagyasyah Sutavanagha Tamo Vishiryate Bhayyam Hare Kathayatah Katham Samichinam Vachah Brahman. Now Parikshit Maharaj is telling to Sukadeva Goswami, "O learned Brahmana, you're perfectly right. Why? Sarvagyasya. Because you know everything. That is why whatever you speak is perfectly right. Tava, Annagha, and it is without any contamination. Annagha also refers to you're sinless. Tamaha, Vishiriyate, just by hearing your words, all tamas goes away. The ignorance disappears. Tamas here refers to ignorance. Mahyam Hare Katayataha Katham. You're describing to me, you're speaking, Katayataha, you're speaking topics about Krishna. That is why all the ignorance goes away. Mahyam, you're speaking to me the topics of Krishna. All my ignorance has gone. You're completely without contamination. You're completely sinless. Whatever you speak is perfectly right. That is how one should have complete faith in the words of his spiritual master. Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyate katitayartam prakashante mahatmana. One who has faith in the words of his guru, Krishna gives him the knowledge. The knowledge is not just by your reading. You may memorize 100 shlokas, you may memorize many things, but it is a revelation of knowledge. Tasyate katitayartam prakashante. Prakashante. Krishna did not say patante. Prakashante mahatmana. Patante is ratmarke patriya, but prakashante is revelation. Krishna gives that knowledge. Krishna reveals his pastimes. His pastimes are revealed. So Maharaj Parikshit says, you are completely sinless and whatever you speak is perfectly right. You are without any material contamination. Okay, Raksha Mataji, read.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, धन्यवाद, प्रणाम. श्लोका 5. राजोवाच समीचीनं वचो ब्रह्मन् सर्वज्ञस्य तवानथ तमो विषयर्ते मह्यं हरे कथयतः कथाम्. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai ho. In every inquisitive mind, the important question of the creation of the phenomenal world arises.
Hey, which one you're reading?
Sorry, 5, Mataji, 5. The practical experience of Maharaj Parikshit is disclosed herein, revealing that transcendental topics of the Lord act like injunction when received by the sincere devotees from a person who is perfectly uncontaminated by material tinges. In other words, reception of the message of Srimad Bhagavatam from professional men heard by a Karmakandi audience never act miraculously as stated here. Devotional hearing of message of the Lord is not like hearing ordinary topics. Therefore, the action will be felt by the sincere hearer by experience of the gradual disappearance of ignorance. Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyate katitaya artha prakashante mahatmana. Shvetaswar Upanishad 6.23. When a hungry man is given food to eat, he faces situation of hunger and the pleasure of satiation of hunger and the pleasure of dining simultaneously. Thus, he does not have to ask whether he has actually been fed or not. The crucial test of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is that one should get positive enlightenment by such an act. Hare Krishna. Mataji.
So how to understand whether this person has understood Bhagavatam or not? By his actions. By his surrenderance, by his actions. Then only the Bhagavatam has been imbibed in him. Simple. How to understand whether I have understood Bhagavatam or not? By my surrenderance to my Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru. Then, yes, Bhagavatam is now entering the consciousness. Bhagavatam is person. As much as Krishna is person, Bhagavatam is person. Bhagavatam enters the consciousness. And it enters the consciousness of one who is humble, who is surrendered, who has complete faith in his spiritual master. That is why here first Rajo Vacha. This verse is speaking about my spiritual master knows everything. First thing, oh Brahmana. Now how this Brahmana appeared? Like a madman, isn't it? He was naked. People were laughing at him. He appeared like a madman. But when he spoke, the whole audience was sitting, hearing. That is why here Parikshit Maharaj says, you are Annaga, you are sinless. How to understand the spiritual master is sinless and pure? By his faith in his spiritual master, by his faith in the mission. Simple. By his faith, like how we understand Srila Prabhupada's disciples have faith. By their faith in their spiritual master, this Srila Prabhupada, and their faith in the missionary activities. Bhuya eva vivitsam Bhagavan Atma Mayaya Yathedam Srujate Vishwam Durvibhavya Madhishwarai Bhuya eva vivitsami Bhagavan Atma Mayaya Yathedam Sujate Vishwam Durvibhavyam Adhishwaraihi. Now, Bhuya eva vivitsami. I wish to learn. Again, I wish to learn. You have spoken this, but I want to know more. I want to know again how Bhagavan Atma Maya, by his energies, idam srujate. How did he create this material world, this phenomenal world, Vishwam, this universe? Durvibhavyam, very inconceivable, even to the demigods, Adishwari. How this creation happens? Om Nama Bhagate Vasudeva Janmadhyasya. Krishna says, the first verse. What is the first verse of Bhagavatam? Child?
Yes, Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmandasya Yatonvaya Itirata Charteshva Vignaswara
Adi.
Tene Brahmaridayadi Kavaye Muhyanti.
Muhyanti at Sureha. See this word Muhyanti. Even the Sureha are also bewildered. How this Janma Adi Asya happens? Janma Adhyasya Tanvayadi Taratah Chartesha Vikyaswarat. How he creates and how he gets it created by his Atma Maya. Sometimes he does it personally, sometimes he does it through his energies. Muhyanti at Sureha. It is bewildering even to the demigods. Same thing has been given here. Dur Vibhavyam Adhishwarehi. Very difficult even for the demigods to understand how this creation is happening. How Krishna's potencies are working. So it is very difficult even to the demigods to understand that who are we? We are just insignificant jivas. Okay. Aruna Sumukhi Mataji. Every time I call her Aruna, at least in the class I can purify myself by calling her Aruna Sumukhi Mataji.
Text 6. Bhuya eva vivitsami Bhagavanatma mayaya Yathedam sujate vishvam Durvibhavyamadishwaraihi. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In every inquisitive mind, the important question of the creation of the phenomenal world arises. And therefore, for a personality like Maharaja Parikshit, who was to know all the activities of the Lord from his spiritual master, such an inquiry is uncommon, not uncommon. For every unknown thing, we have to learn and inquire from a learned personality. The question of creation is also one of such inquiries to be made to the right person. The spiritual master, therefore, must be one who is Sarvagna, as stated herein before in connection with Sukadeva Goswami. Thus, all enquiries on God, which are unknown to the disciple, may be made from the qualified spiritual master. And here, the practical example is set by Maharaja Parikshit. It was, however, already known to Maharaja Parikshit that everything we see is born out of the energy of the Lord, as we have all learned in the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Janmadhyasya Yatonvayat. Okay, so Maharaja Parikshit wanted to know the process of creation. The origin of creation was known to him, otherwise, he would not have inquired how the personality of Godhead, by his different energies, creates this phenomenal world. The common man also knows that the creation is made by some creator and is not created automatically. We have no experience in the practical world that a thing is created automatically. Foolish people say that the creative energy is independent and acts automatically as electrical energy works. But the intelligent man knows that even the electrical energy is generated by an expert engineer in the localized powerhouse, and thus the energy is distributed everywhere under the resident engineer's supervision. The Lord's supervision in connection with the creation is mentioned even in the Bhagavad Gita 9.10, and it is clearly said there that material energy is a manifestation of one of many such energies of the Supreme. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. An inexperienced boy may be struck with wonder by seeing the impersonal actions of electronics or many other wonderful things conducted by electrical energy, but an experienced man knows that behind the action is a living man who creates such energy. Similarly, the so-called scholars and philosophers of the world may, by mental speculation, present so many utopian theories about the impersonal creation of the universe. But an intelligent devotee of the Lord, by studying the Bhagavad Gita, can know that behind the creation is the hand of the Supreme Lord, just as in the generating electrical powerhouse, there is a resident engineer. The research scholar finds out the cause and effect of everything, but research scholars as great as Brahma, Shiva, Indra, and many other demigods are sometimes bewildered by seeing the wonderful creative energy of Lord. So, what to speak of the tiny mundane scholars dealing in petty things? As there are differences in the living conditions of different planets of the universe, as one planet is superior to others, the brains of the living entities in those respective planets are also of different categorical values. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, one can compare the long duration of life of inhabitants of Brahma's planet, which is inconceivable to the inhabitants of this planet Earth, to the categorical value of the brain of Brahmaji, also inconceivable to any great scientist of this planet. And with such high brain power, even Brahmaji has described in his great Samhita, Brahma Samhita 5.1 as follows: Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. There are many personalities possessing the qualities of Bhagavan, but Krishna is the supreme because none can excel him. He is a supreme person and his body is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. He is the primeval Lord Govinda and the cause of all causes. Brahmaji admits Lord Krishna to be the supreme cause of all causes, but persons with tiny brains within this petty planet Earth think of the Lord as one of them. Thus, when the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita that He, Lord Krishna, is all in all, the speculative philosophers and the mundane wranglers deride him, and the Lord regretfully says, Avajananti mamura manushintanuma shrutam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Mataji, continue. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form, but they do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be.
Someone else also can read.
Mm-hmm.
Who will read? Ravindra Sachiputra Prabhu, read.
Hare Krishna. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. Bhagavad Gita 9.11. Brahma and Shiva, and what to speak of other demigods, are bhutas, or powerful created demigods who manage universal affairs, much like the ministers appointed by a king. The ministers may be Ishwaras or controllers, but the Supreme Lord is Maheshwara, or the creator of the controller. Persons with a poor fund of knowledge do not know this, and therefore they have the audacity to deride him because he comes before us by his causeless mercy, occasionally as a human being. The Lord is not like a human being. He is Sachidananda Vigraha, or the absolute personality of Godhead, and therefore there is no difference between his body and his soul. He is both the power and the powerful. Maharaj Parikshit did not ask his spiritual master Sukadeva Goswami to narrate Lord Krishna's pastime in Vrindavan. He wanted to hear first about the creation of the Lord. Sukadeva Goswami did not say that the king should hear about the direct transcendental pastimes of the Lord. The time was very short, and naturally Sukadeva Goswami could have gone directly to the 10th canto to make a shortcut of the whole thing, as it is generally done by the professional reciter. But neither the king nor the great speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam jumped up like the organizers of Bhagavatam. Both of them proceeded systematically so that both future readers and hearers may take lessons from the example of the procedure of writing Srimad Bhagavatam. Those who are in control of the external energy of the Lord, or in other words, those who are in the material world, must first of all know how the external energy of the Lord is working under the direction of Supreme Personality. And afterwards, one may try to enter into the activities of his internal energy. Mundaners are mostly worshippers of Durga Devi, the external energy of Krishna. But they do not know that Durga Devi is but the shadow energy of the Lord. Both her astonishing display of material working is the direction of the Lord, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9:10. The Brahma Samhita affirms that Durga Shakti is working by the direction of Govinda, and without his sanction, the powerful Durga Shakti cannot move even a blade of grass. Therefore, the neophyte devotee, instead of jumping at once to the platform of transcendental pastimes presented by the eternal energy of the Lord, may know how great the Supreme Lord is by inquiring about the process of his creative energy. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, description of creative energy and the Lord's hands in it are explained. And the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita has warned the neophyte devotees to be seriously on guard against the pitfall of neglecting knowledge about Krishna in regard to how great he is. Only when one knows Lord Krishna's greatness can one firmly put one's unflinching faith in him. Otherwise, like the common man, even the great leaders of men will mistake Lord Krishna for one of the many demigods, or a historical personality, or a myth only. The transcendental pastime of the Lord in Vrindavan, or even at Dwarka, are relishable for persons who have already qualified themselves in advanced spiritual techniques. And the common man may be able to attain to such a plane by the gradual process of service and inquiries, as we shall see in the behavior of Maharaj Parikshit. Hare Krishna.
So now here, Maya Shakti, Chit Shakti. Very important to understand. Now Parikshit Maharaj is first asking about Maya Shakti. Krishna has a lot of opulences. Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti is responsible for creation. Then comes Chit Shakti. Chit Shakti is how Lord lifted Govardhan. how Lord attracted all the gopis, that Chit potency, Chit Shakti. That later he will ask. First, a person should know about the opulence. Then the person can start relishing the sweetness. It's not so easy to relish the sweetness, the simpleness that can be understood and relished only when a person understands the greatness. Mr. Prabhupada was cutting the grass. While cutting the grass, he just tried the turban. And he put the dhoti up and just tried. And up, nothing was there, just dhoti and turban. He was cutting the grass. Some visitor came, who is the founder acharya for this temple. Devotees had to say, that person, oh, ye Mali? Mali nahi hai. He is a Srila Prabhupada. Now, to understand this sweetness of Prabhupada cutting the grass and relishing it, for that one should know the sweetness. One should know the greatness. Greatness makes a person relish the sweetness. If he doesn't know the greatness, it is impossible to understand how sweet is Srila Prabhupada, how sweet is Lord Krishna, who being the creator is very, very simple. Such a simplest person who is riding the chariot of becoming a charioteer. So to understand this, that is what first Maya Shakti, then Chit Shakti. Okay, next. Yatha gopayati vibhur, yatha samyachate punah, yam yam shaktim upashritya, purushakti purhapuman, atmanam kridayan, kridan karoti vikaroti cha. Yatha gopayati vibhu. So I want to know how Lord, with his energies, is maintaining everything. Vibhu, that great person. Yatha samyachate, how he winds up also. Because Janma Adi refers to creation, maintenance, destruction. So how does he maintain? How does he destroy? Winds up. It's not destruction actually, it's winding up. Winding up the Leela. It is not destruction. Winding up, putting again in the womb, again putting again in the stomach, and again removing out. Winding up. Punha yam yam shaktim upashitya. So he's employing his energies. Puru Shakti, they're all powerful. Paraha Puman. Paraha Puman, the Supreme Person. Atmanam Shuddha. Atmanam Kridayan. Kridayan refers to playfully. He does this all activities by planetary expansions, Kridayan, engaging them. Kridan, also personally engaging himself. Karoti, Vikaroti. So he does it and he gets it done. Or he becomes the cause to be done. Janmadyasya yatanvayadi taratah cha arthesha vigyaswarat. He does it, he gets it done. By his plenary expansion. So he is the cause, gets it done. In this way, he becomes the effect also. The cause and effect are the same person. The effect is, yes, his plenary expansion is getting it, does it. That is an effect. Effect of his supreme personality. If a supreme person, he's a supreme personality. So effect of his power is that he gets it done. The cause is to be done. Yes, it gets it done. Okay. So kindly explain how the Supreme Lord, who is all powerful, engages his different energies. See engagement. Even Krishna gives engagement. So we jivas also should do what? We also should be engaged, and we should give others also engagement. It's very important. So what is Krishna consciousness? Engaging each and everything in Krishna's service. Anasaktasya vishayan yatharham upayunjatah nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagya katyate. Who is a yukta vairagi? Who is not attached to anything, but yatharham upayunjatah. He is employing every samarthya. His samarthya, other samarthya, every samarthya. Now Krishna is also doing the same thing, employing his energy, his different expansions in maintaining, again winding up. How is he doing? In the sporting spirit of a player. Like the players, the captain of the team, what he does, he employs his team. Then he is a captain. If he only goes on playing, others are like Buddhu sitting, then he is not called as a captain. Captain is one who employs his team. So Krishna as a player, with that spirit, is employing his energy, is employing his expansion in all the activities. Now Krishna alone can do, but Krishna says, I don't do anything. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. The first line itself in Bhagavad Gita, the purport we have this verse. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. I don't do anything, but I am the cause for everything. Krishna gets it done. So how see, manager actually doesn't do anything. Manager should know to manage things properly. Then he is an expert manager. Okay. So Krishna is the expert manager. He gets everything done by his energies and his personal expansions. Okay. Sanjay Prabhu, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yatha gopayati vibhur yatha samyachate punah yam yam shaktim upashritya puru shakti parapuman atmanam kridayan krinan karoti cha. Kindly describe how the Supreme Lord, who is all-powerful, engages his different energies and different expansions in maintaining and again winding up the phenomenal world in the sporting spirit of a player. In the Katha Upanishad 2.2.13, the Supreme Lord is described as the chief eternal being amongst all other eternal individual beings. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. And the one Supreme Lord who maintains innumerable other individual living beings. Eko Bahunam Yo Vidhati Kaman. So all living entities, both in the conditioned state and in the liberated state, are maintained by the Almighty Supreme Lord. Such maintenance is effected by the Lord through his different expansions of self and three principal energies, namely the internal, external, and the marginal energies. The living entities are his marginal energies, and some of them, in the confidence of the Lord, are entrusted with the work of creation also, as are Brahma, Marichi, etc. And the acts of creation are inspired by the Lord unto them. Tene Brahma Rita. The external energy Maya is also impregnated with the jivas or conditioned souls. The unconditioned marginal potency acts in the spiritual kingdom, and the Lord, by his different plenary expansions, maintains them in different transcendental relations displayed in the spiritual sky. So the one Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests himself in many, Bahushyam, and thus all diversities are in him. And he is in all diversities, although he is nevertheless different from all of them. That is the inconceivable mystic power of the Lord, and as such, everything is simultaneously one with and different from him by his inconceivable potencies. Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva. Hare Krishna Mata.
So because of these questions, we have the subject matters of Bhaktam, which will start from third canto. Sarga, Visarga. Sarga means creation, Visarga means sub-creation. The secondary creation is there in the fourth canto. Okay. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman Harer Adbhuta Karmanah Durvibhavyam Iva Bhati Kavibhischapi Cheshtitam. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman Harer Adbhuta Karmanah Durvibhavyam इवा भाति कविभिश् चापि चेष्टितं नूनम. Okay. So, still insufficient. What is still insufficient? Bhagavataha is Kavi. Bhagavataha Harer Adbhuta Karmanaha. The Adbhuta Karmanaha is very inconceivable. And these learned scholars, they are trying to understand. They are doing cheshtitam. That means they're endeavoring, but that is still insufficient. Even if we try to understand the activities of Krishna, it is very difficult. These transcendental activities of Krishna are adbhutam, wonderful. They are inconceivable. And the endeavor, cheshtitam kavibihi nunam. Cheshtitam kavibihi nunam. The endeavor done by kavibihi, that is the highly learned people, to understand Krishna is insufficient. That is why there's a nice verse which says, na pravachane na labhyas. There's a nice verse. I'll just remove that verse and 1 minute, 1 second. Nayam atma pravachane na labhyas. You can remove that verse. Nayam atma pravachane na labhyas. Up, Prabhupada shlokas. Third one, yeah. Nayam atma pravachane na labhyas na bahuna. I'm not remembering the whole verse, but that verse very clearly says, wait, I'm removing it. Nayam atma. Yeah, Nayam atma pravachane na labhyas. 359.
Mataji Nayam Atma Pravachanena
Nayam
Labhyo
Atma Pravachena
Na me-
Labhyo Na
Na
Medhaya
Medhaya
Na
Na Bahuna
Bahuna
Na medhaya na bahuna shutena.
Tutena Labhyatasma
Yam
Shastra
Evaisha
Yame
Vartate Tena
isha vrishta.
Labhyas Tasyaisha Atma
Vrunate tena
Vibhunate
labhyas
Tanumanu
tasya ishatma vrunate tanuswam. To whom I manifest, I choose. Whoever I choose, I manifest to him. Not just by explanation. Nayam atma pravachane labhya. Even if a person has done pravachans, not easy to understand Lord. Na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. Not by one's own mental power, nor by listening. Yam eva isha vrunate tena labhyas. Yam eva isha vrunate tena labhyas. This is very incomprehensible, very difficult to attain. But to whoever I have selected, vrunate tanuswam, whoever has been selected by me, I manifest my own form. So Kavi is, who is a Kavi? Kavi is trying to understand Krishna by his speculative knowledge. Krishna says, not so easy to understand me. So that verse goes with this. Nayam atma pravachane na labhyas na medaya na bhavna shutena emeva isha vrutatanuswam. So this is very important to understand these verses, how to correlate the verses. Because when you are a Bhakti Vaibhav student, you should always correlate the verse. Immediately you should strike it. Yes, that was the verse. You may not remember, but Prabhupada has given enough shlokas for us. Especially the most important, the selected verses book is there. So open that book. Go on seeing how one can relate the shlokas with another shlokas. Okay. So acts of the Lord is very difficult to be understood. So Vrindavan Lila Mataji, read the big purport.
Hare Krishna
It's a
Mataji.
big purport. So you can share this purport with Bindu Mataji. You can read up to was relayed till there. Till Bhagavad Gita 9, let Bhagavad Gita 9.25 from there.
Okay.
All purpose she will do. Okay, read.
नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् हरेरद्भुतकर्मणः दुर्विभाव्यम् इवा भाति कविभिश्चापि चेष्टितम्. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful, and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. The acts of the Supreme Lord in the creation of just this one universe appear inconceivably wonderful, and there are innumerable universes, and all of them aggregated together are known as the created material world. And this part of his creation is only a fractional portion of the complete creation. The material world stands as a part only. Ekam Shena Sthita Jagat. Supposing that the material world is a display of one part of his energy, the remaining three parts consist of the Vaikuntha Jagat, or spiritual world described in the Bhagavad Gita as Madhama or Sanatana Dhama, or the eternal world. We have marked in the previous verses that he creates and again winds up the creation. This action is applicable only in the material world because the other greater part of his creation, namely the Vaikuntha world, is neither created nor annihilated. Otherwise, the Vaikuntha Dhama would not have been called eternal. The Lord exists with his Dhama, or in other words, with his eternal name, qualities, pastimes, entourage, and personality, which are all a display of his different energies and expansions. The Lord is called Anadi, or having no creator, and Adi, or the origin of all. We think in our own imperfect way that the Lord is also created. But the Vedanta informs us that he is not created. Rather, everything else is created by him. Narayano para avyaktat. Therefore, for the common man, these are all very wonderful matters for consideration. Even for great scholars, they are inconceivable, and thus such scholars present theories contradictory to one another. Even for the insignificant part of his creation, this particular universe, they have no complete information as to how far this limited space extends, or how many stars and planets are there, or the different conditions of those innumerable planets. Modern scientists have insufficient knowledge of all this. Some of them assert that there are 100 million planets scattered all over space. In a news release from Moscow dated 2/21/60, the following piece of knowledge was relayed. Russia's well-known professor of astronomy, Boris Vorontsov Velaminov, said that there must be an infinite number of planets in the universe inhabited by beings endowed with reason. It could be that life similar to that on Earth flourishes on such planets. Doctor of Chemistry Nikolai Zurov, covering the problem of atmosphere on other planets, pointed out that the organism of a Martian, for instance, could very well adapt itself to normal existence with a low body temperature. He said that he felt that the gaseous composition of Martian atmosphere was quite suitable to sustain life of beings which have become adapted to it. This adaptability of an organism to different varieties of planets is described in the Brahma Samhita as Vibhuti Bhinnam. That is, each and every one of the innumerable planets within the universe is endowed with a particular type of atmosphere, and the living beings there are more perfectly advanced in science and psychology because of a better atmosphere. Vibhuti means specific powers, and Bhinnam means variegated. Scientists who are attempting to explore outer space and are trying to reach other planets by mechanical arrangements must know for certain that organisms adapted to the atmosphere of Earth cannot exist in the atmospheres of other planets. Easy journey to other planets. One has to prepare himself, therefore, to be transferred to a different planet after being relieved of the present body, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita 9.25. I think now Aruna Sumukhi Mataji has to take over.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, you
Aruna,
told Bindu Mataji. Bindu
Bindu,
Mataji.
Oh, sorry.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranam. Yanti deva vrata devan, pitran yanti pitravataha, bhutani yanti bhutecha, yanti matyaji nopimam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. Maharaj Parikshit's statement regarding the workings of the creative energy of the Lord discloses that he knew everything of the process of creation. Why then did he ask Sukdev Goswami for such information? Maharaj Parikshit, being a great emperor, a descendant of the Pandavas, and a great devotee of Lord Krishna, was quite able to know considerably about the creation of the world, but that much knowledge was not sufficient. He said, therefore, that even greatly learned scholars fail to know about that, even after great effort. The Lord is unlimited, and his activities are also unfathomed. With a limited source of knowledge and with imperfect senses, any living being up to the standard of Brahmaji, the highest perfect living being within the universe, can never imagine knowing about the unlimited. We can know something of the unlimited when it is explained by the unlimited, as has been done by the Lord Himself in the unique statements of the Bhagavad Gita, and it can also be known to some extent from realized souls like Sukdev Goswami, who learned it from Vyasdev, a disciple of Narada. And thus, the perfect knowledge can descend by the chain of disciplic succession only, and not by any form of experimental knowledge, old or modern. Hare Krishna Mataji.
यथा गुणास्तु प्रकृते युगपत्रमशोऽपि वा बिभर्ति भूरिशस्त्वेकः कुर्वन् कर्माणि जन्मभिः. So the Lord is one, whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in many forms or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature. Yatha gunan tu prakrute yuga pat, that means simultaneously, kramashah, gradually. That means either he does it directly or maintains gradually, bhurishaha, with many forms. He is that one person only. Even if he expands also, he is one person. He expands into many forms, again he is one person. Kurvan karmani janmiti. The last verse will take. Then read the 2 verses and read the purport of 10th verse. Vichikshitam etan me bravitu bhagavan yatha shabde brahmani nishnatah parasminscha bhavan khalu vichiksit what I'm reading, vichikitsita me tanme bravitu bhagavan yatha. So vichikitsitam means there is an inquiry, doubtful inquiry. What is a doubtful inquiry? I have these inquiries, you clear it up. Bravitu, that means you clear it up, O Lord, about Bhagavan, Yatha, Shabde. So is so powerful. Vedic literature, Brahmani, Nishnataha, Parasmin. Nishnataha means fully realized, Parasmin, in transcendence, Cha Bhavan, Khalu, as a matter of fact. So you are so well versed in Vedic literatures, Brahmani. This Vedic literature is sound transcendental, Shabde. It is Shabda Brahman. And Bhagavan, like Lord, you are also very powerful. You are self-realized. And you are also a great devotee also, self-realized. So Bhavan, you are as good as the Lord himself. So only you can remove all my doubts. Because you are vastly learned in Vedic literatures. So what is the meaning of Guru? Guru, one of the meaning of Guru is heavy in knowledge. He should be expert in the Vedic literature. He should know even the 6 systems of this philosophy, which is atheistic philosophy. Vidyam cha yastad vedobhyam saha. He should know the knowledge, he should know even avidya also. Avidya here refers to not the atheistic. We are referring to avidya refers to what are the consequences of worshipping different demigods. That also you should know. If you see in Ishopanishad, Vidyam cha yastad vedobhyam saha, it had been told. Sometimes you think avidya means atheism. He should know what is atheistic philosophy also. At the same time, he should know what are the consequences of worshipping the demigods also. And he should know what is Vidya. What is the effect of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this way, he should know everything. And that is how, because he knows the Vedic literature, he is self-realized and he is a great devotee of Krishna. That is more important. He is devotee, that is why he knows the Vedic literature. If he is not a devotee, then he will never understand the essence of Vedas. Vedesha sarver ahameva vedyaha. This ahameva vedyaha can happen. Well, I am the cause of the Vedas, or I am the compiler of Vedas. This can only happen if he is a devotee of Krishna. That is why here the glorification of Sukadeva Goswami is given. That Sukadeva Goswami is well versed in the Vedic literatures, self-realized, and a devotee of Krishna. That is why he is as good as the Supreme Personality of God. Okay. Gyandeep Prabhu read, and purport will be shared with.
I'm traveling, so I don't have the book.
Okay. Okay. Aruna, you read. Aruna Sumukhi. You read, and the purport will be shared by Venkatesh Avatar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, text 9. Yata gunaksu prakritir yugapat kramashopi va vibharti bhurishak sveka kurvan karmani janmabhi. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in many forms or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature.
The next 10th verse, Venkatesh Avatar Prabhu, you read. And purport, you read two paragraphs, and then Aruna Mataji read. Yeah, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam. विचिकित्स्तमे तन्मे प्रवित भगवान यथा शाब्दे ब्रह्मणि निष्णान् परस्मिन् च भवान् खलु. Translation: kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in the Vedic literature and self-realized in the transcendence, but are also a great devotee of the Lord and are therefore as good as the personality of Godhead. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that Supreme Absolute Truth, Govinda, the personality of Godhead, although one without a second, is infallible, expanded by innumerable forms, indifferent, non-different from the one another. And although he is the original person, he is still ever young with the permanent youthful energy. He is very difficult to know simply by the learning the transcendental science of the Vedas, but he is very easily realized by his pure devotees. The expansion of the different forms of the Lord as a form from Krishna to Baladeva to Sankarshana, and from Sankarshana to Vasudeva, and from Vasudeva to Aniruddha, and Aniruddha to Pradyumna, and then again to second Sankarshana, and from him to the Narayana Purusha Avatar, and innumerable other forms, so which are compared to the constant flowing of the uncountable waves of the river, are all one and the same. They are like the lamps of equal power which kindle from one lamp to another. So that is the transcendental potency of the Lord. The Vedas says that he is so complete that even though the whole complete identity emanates from him, he still remains the same complete whole. Purusha Purana Adya Puranam Ivashishyate. So as such, there is no validity in a material conceptions of the Lord produced by the mental speculator. Thus, he remains always mystery for the mundane scholar, even if he is vastly learned in the Vedic literature. Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atmabhakti. So therefore, the Lord is beyond the limit of conception of mundane learned scholars, philosopher or scientist. He is easily understandable for the pure devotees, because of the Lord declares in Bhagavad Gita 18.54 that after the surpassing the stage of the knowledge. When one is able to engage in the devotional service of the Lord, then only can one know the true nature of the Lord. One cannot have any clear conception of the Lord or his holy name, form, attributes, pastime, etc., unless one is engaged in his transcendental loving service. The statement of Bhagavad Gita that one must first of all surrender unto the Lord. So, being freed from all other engagements means that one must become a pure, unconditional devotee of the Lord. Only then can one know Him by the strength of devotional service.
Hare Krishna. Maharaja Parikshit admitted in the previous verse that the Lord is inconceivable even for the greatest learned scholars. Why then should he again request Sukadeva Goswami to clarify his insufficient knowledge about the Lord? The reason is clear. Not only was Sukadeva Goswami vastly learned in the Vedic literatures, but he was also a great self-realized soul and a powerful devotee of the Lord. A powerful devotee of the Lord is, by the grace of the Lord, more than the Lord himself. The personality of Godhead, Sri Ramachandra, attempted to bridge the Indian Ocean to reach the island of Lanka. But Sri Hanumanji, the unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead, could cross the ocean simply by jumping over it. The Lord is so merciful upon his pure devotee that he presents his beloved devotee as more powerful than himself. The Lord expressed himself to be unable to save Durvasa Muni, that he could reach the lightly under. But Durvasa Muni was saved by Maharaja Ambarisha, the devotee of the Lord. Therefore, not only is a devotee of the Lord more powerful than the Lord, but also worship of the devotee is considered more effective than direct worship of the Lord. Madbhakta Puja Vyadikha. The conclusion is, therefore, that a serious devotee must first approach a spiritual master who not only is well versed in Vedic literatures, but is also a great devotee with factual realization of the Lord and his different energies. Without the help of such a devotee, spiritual master, one cannot make progress in the transcendental science of the Lord. And a bona fide spiritual master like Shukadeva Goswami does not speak about the Lord only in the matter of his internal potencies, but also explains how he associates with his external potencies. The Lord's pastimes in the internal potency are displayed in his activities in Vrindavana, but his external potential works are directed in his features of Karana Vyasi Vishnu, Karanarnavashai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Shirodakshai Vishnu. Karanodakshai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Shirodakshai Vishnu. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti offers this good counsel to the interested Vaishnavas when he says that they should not be interested in hearing only about the Lord's activities like Rasa Leela, but must be keenly interested in his pastimes, in his features of the Purushavataras in connection with Srishti Tattva, creational functions, following the examples of Maharaja Parikshit, the ideal disciple, and Shukadeva Goswami, the ideal spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
Even in Padma Puran, Krishna says, whoever is my devotee is not my devotee. Whoever is my devotee's devotee, he is my devotee. Yeme bhakta jana partha name bhaktas chate janaha. This verse has to be memorized actually. Because sometimes we think, oh, we are great worshippers of Lord. We can see Lord directly. No, we can never see Lord directly. We don't know who is Krishna. But Tattvadarshi, our spiritual master, has seen. So being sincere to the spiritual master, that is a revelation. Yeme bhakta jana partha name bhaktas chate janaha. Mad bhaktanam chaye bhaktas teme bhakta tamamataha. According to me, whoever is a devotee of my devotee, then I consider him to be a devotee. So Krishna sometimes tries to prove himself very weak before devotees. Like when Durvasa Muni went to Krishna, he said, I cannot do anything. He wanted to prove my Ambarish Maharaj can do. Now very clearly it has been said, Ramchandra built Setu, but here Hanuman jumped over. So who is powerful? Actually, devotees are more powerful than Krishna, because Krishna is bound by the devotees. Who can bind whom? Who is powerful? That person only can bind others. So how the devotee can bind Krishna? By the love. So love is more powerful than even opulence. That is how in Damodar Leela what is shown. Love is more powerful even than opulence of Krishna. Krishna wanted to show opulence. But then Yashoda Mata is showing the sweetness. So that is very much important, that love can bind that most powerful person who binds everybody in the three modes of material nature, who is completely transcendental, but still that love has the power. So that is why devotees are more powerful. So whatever devotees wish, that happens. And for devotees, Krishna makes special arrangement. Whoever is sincere to his spiritual master, Krishna makes special arrangement for that devotee. That is why parampara is there. Why parampara is there? Only for this reason, parampara is there. And very clearly it has been said, you are vastly learned in the Vedic literatures. You are as good as Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Why Guru is considered as Bhagavan? Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastra. Why he is respected as good as Bhagavan? But devotee will not say, Guru will not say, I am Bhagavan, but he is respected as good as Bhagavan. Whatever the spiritual master say, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, the words has just to be heard. The person learns this, then he can easily understand the imports of the knowledge. It's very important, because when we are studying Bhagavatam, how we are going to understand Bhagavatam? By understanding, yes, Sakshat, we sing every day, Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastra. The Shastras speak about it. And very clearly it is said, Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru. Tasyete katitayartam prakashante mahatmana. To the extent I love my spiritual master as good as Lord, to the extent I take care of my spiritual master as good as Lord. Don't consider spiritual master as just one dustbin. Dustbin. All my sins I can give it to my spiritual master. No. Or some information center. Let me take some information. No. To serve. Very important. Tadviddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. If that sevaya is not there, then it is only what? Information, no transformation. Information will come, but there will be no transformation. And there will be no realization of the power which Krishna gives to every devotee. So every devotee has a power, but the realization of that power, like Jambavan, made Hanuman realize his power. Every devotee has a power, but that power is exhibited also by the spiritual master only. And somebody asked me, why are you doing so many projects? Why are you taking all the headaches? I said, that is a faith what my spiritual master has on me. Simple. So whatever has to come out, it is only because of the mercy of the spiritual master. Simple. If I have to follow to my Shiksha Guru, whatever he says, automatically the power is generated by the spiritual master. We are just instruments in the hands of the Guru Shishya Parampara. Okay, so here we'll stop. Any questions we can ask? Yeah. Then.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, every time you speak, and even Bhagavatam also, like there are so many references that there's so much of importance of Guru. We know that it's Guru Tattva, but at the same time, when we have person Guru in front of us, we tend to develop relationship with that person, and we also have emotional connection also. Means it just happens. And then there are situations like I have come across so many devotees. They were so deeply connected to their Guru.
Familiarity breeds contempt.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Maharaj. Yes.
So we should know that we should always maintain the respect. Just because we are helping the spiritual master, that doesn't mean that we have purchased the spiritual master.
My
is the
question was
spiritual
little
master.
different.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I have seen devotees, like they took Diksha, they served them very sincerely. Everything was going on fine. And suddenly in our organization, we have seen so many gurus change their ashram. And then they are so broken-hearted after that. And it happened twice with one devotee. And third time he said, now I have to take initiation. Again for the third time, now I will take from a guru who is on the deathbed, so that there is no possibility of him changing the ashram. It may sound ridiculous, but then it involves so much more, Mataji.
Is
So
it
how
that
do
a
we
spiritual
understand?
master should be only sannyasi?
I don't agree to that. I feel
The Shastras
we-
have not told that. Kiba vipra kiba nasi shudra kene haya. It can be a sannyasi. That is why ignorance. It's all ignorance. That I should only take initiation from a sannyasi.
No, he
Okay.
said I should take initiation from a person who is on the deathbed, so that there is no room for any kind of
So that is
fall down
how
or
the
degeneration.
selection of the spiritual master. And then spiritual master is only Diksha Guru,
No.
Shiksha Guru.
Shiksha Guru, I feel that's
Yes.
more important.
Yes, because in the previous times, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru were one person. Now, Shiksha Guru are the hands of the Diksha Guru. Because Diksha Guru cannot reach to so many places. That's why when we see Chaitanya Chaitamrita, it starts with Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru should be held on the same platform. Because Shiksha Guru cannot be separated from Diksha Guru. There may be many Shiksha Gurus, but there will be one Shiksha Guru who has the right to scold you, who can correct you. So that also we should understand. Okay, stop here. Next batch has to start. I'll take the questions next week.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.